Hi, I'm Lisa Snowden, and I was discovered whilst dancing on a podium wildly in a nightclub.
Hello, my name's Rebecca Mader, and I got into modelling through my local newspaper in Cambridge.
Hello, my name's Lisa Dolan. I was approached in Covent Garden by a model scout, asked if I wanted to model, and I said yes, and here I am.
Hi, my name's Rosemary Ferguson, and I started modelling full-time when I was 17, and I was only going to do it for 1 year, but I'm still here 7 years later.
Hi, my name is Sophia. I've been modelling for 2 years now, and I absolutely love the job because it's taken me all over the world.
Hi, I'm Mary-Claire Rogerson, and I've been in this industry for 2 years now. I'd like to think it hasn't changed me, but I guess I'll let my friends be the judge of that.
So what would you say the very best thing about being beautiful is, Sophia?
Obviously, this is said very humbly, but obviously, you know, you're aware as you become older and you come into your own that you're aware that you might have certain attributes, and you feel them as you're walking around or walking down the street, and you're aware that people will look, and from that some strength is derived.
Do you all find that to be true?
Yeah, but it's true. How do you know that's the way you look? Because I know that I always give a really big smile if I want my own way, like crossing the street or something, or if you want a car to stop at a pedestrian crossing, I give the biggest smile and make sure they do stop, but you don't know if that's because the way you look or the fact that you're being nice.
I think it's about how you carry it. It's not about being physically attractive, it's just how you carry something, because people have different ideas of what it is anyway. There's a saying, if you walk with a skip in your step, you know, and if you do, if you walk, you're feeling nice, like, you know,
energy.
Yeah, that's what I think
It's not necessarily someone that's stunning, but someone that is just walking down the street, just happy to be there and happy to be alive, and you can just see it, and you can see the energy coming out of them, and you just want to watch them.
So it's like self-esteem. It gives you self-esteem.
Yeah, strength. Yeah, absolutely.
You get attitude as well, because if people think that you're good looking and they think you think you're good looking, then people give you the worst attitude.
Because they think you're arrogant.
Yeah, they think, who does she think she
loves
is?
herself.
Exactly.
But I just make a point of just being myself and being really friendly. I don't, do you know what I mean? Just try and be on the level with everyone and be normal, because you do get some people that are beautiful, and if, you know, if they know it and if they love it, you just don't want to talk to them.
What is beauty?
It's such a...
This is true.
That's a question.
Well, there's
Beauty
the
is only
question.
skin deep, as they say.
But if you've got people telling you like 24 hours a day that you're so beautiful and then
Especially
you're the
from a
next
young
big thing,
age,
and you're
yeah,
working
happens
with
at
people
14,
who are
15.
so sort of, you know, everyone wants to be around you and everyone wants to, you know,
can
you're the
create
next
a little monster.
whoever.
Yeah, of
Then
course.
It's the 16-year-old models who've been in it 2 years, which is the worst.
You know,
The
if you've got
industry
girls
does
who are very
them,
young, then
you know.
they just don't, I don't think they know how to cope with that in a way. And, you know, it's not their fault. If they do turn into some horrific girl, then it's half of it isn't their fault, because they've come from being nice and it's just they're believing their own hype.
Yeah.
So do you actively have to stop yourself from becoming a monster?
Yeah. You have to go home and
look at it and go,
It's all very well being in front of the camera and looking fantastic and having makeup artist and hairdresser and the lighting and everything. You know, you just look $1 million, but then you step out onto the street and you're just the same as everyone else. The makeup's gone, the lighting's gone.
It takes 3 hours.
You get home,
people, you know, look at the pictures of your magazine, they're like, God, you look amazing, but it took 5 or 6 other people's great talent. It's a team effort to look amazing.
Pimples, I guess, must be quite a big issue.
No. But they're not, because you can have them retouched.
Retouch. If it's a good client with a good budget, they'll just go, oh, don't worry.
Yeah, but you still hate turning up with them, don't you? You got one right in the middle of your head.
You feel guilty for
like
having
that.
a spot sometimes.
Yeah, it's so
you have to turn up to work with no makeup on, and if you've got a big zit on your cheek, you walk in sort of going, sorry.
Why guilty?
Because
you're so
you
conscious
just do,
about
and like
it.
sometimes if you're the makeup artist, sometimes the makeup artist will be great, and they're like, oh, don't worry, that's what I'm here for. You know, and you're like, oh,
But
that's
then you get
all
some
right.
going, oh,
But then you get them out and they're like, oh, God.
Is one responsible for their pimples in every way?
No, but there's nothing you can do about
But also sometimes you get all stressed out if you're travelling a lot and you're flying and you're, you know,
I don't think they
skin...
expect you to turn up perfect, because I think every model turns up on a job with spots, so it's not as if you're turning up like a freak with a spot, because I think it happens a lot because of the amount you work, the amount you travel.
I always just turn up and go, I've got loads of spots, I'm really sorry, you've got your job cut out today.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd rather draw attention to it than be all like...
That's what I did, because I used to have really bad skin for a while. For like 4 months, I got loads of spots on my cheeks, and you know, I only could do jobs like where they had a big retouching budget for, like, you know, hair and things like that, where they could literally just airbrush out my cheeks. And at first, I thought, you know, I was saying about the guilty thing, and I'd turn up and go, God, I'm really sorry, you know. But then after a while, I just walked in going, morning, everybody. Sorry about the cheeks, but you knew about it, so let's just rock and roll. And they were like, wait, and I was mates with everyone, and no one cared. So as long as you just kind of get over that hurdle.
If you're confident, if you're not, you know, people, you know, it doesn't matter. It's not just one spot. You're a whole person. And, if, you know, if you're working for, like, a magazine or whatever, it's not just your face. I mean, obviously, if you're doing beauty, then that's more, you know, they're concentrating on just that.
But they wipe everything off anyway, don't they?
And you forget that it's also, you know, once you've got everything on and you've got all your makeup on your eyes, I mean, if you've got a spot on your chin, it's the last thing that people are going to see.
And I think you notice it much more than yourself.
Yeah, because you're just looking at that spot and nothing else on your face.
Exactly.
What causes them? Why for that 4-month period did you have so many spots?
I have no idea. My parents both had kind of like adult acne, and then I got it, and luckily I got some really good medication called Roaccutane, and within like 2 months they're gone. I mean, it's a very, very powerful drug, and you can't take it for very long. You can't conceive, you can't have children, you get very dry. I had lots of nosebleeds, my eyeballs would get dry and they get kind of stuck. My lips were cracked. But my cheeks are better now.
Are there any preventative measures you can take to stop you ever getting spots? Are there certain foods?
Water is brilliant.
Exercise.
Just drink water, man. It's
Sex is great for spots. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it is. Whenever I'm having a lot of sex, my skin's fantastic.
Yeah, but that's the glow.
No, but it's true though. I get spots from... No, I've just had a baby. I've got loads of estrogen.
The best remedy, and this is something which I got told by a woman who used to give me facials when I lived in Ghana, just because they're so cheap there, you can have the most amazing facials for like £2. And pure ozone, basically. If you put ozone, you apply ozone onto skin which is sensitive or has got problems, even if it's raw or hurting in any way, it's amazing at healing. And there's a lot of studies going on right now into ozone being, you know, into cancer, and basically as a body healing mechanism, because it's got this amazing, I don't know what it does, but it's amazing at healing skin, which is why they often, whenever the very rare occasion I did get one, I'd get this woman to put like the ozone thing on my skin.
Where do they get ozone from?
Where'd you buy that?
Yeah.
Do they go into space and like put some in a jar?
No, it's a kind of electric thing. It looks like a glass tube. No, it's like, and
so
it
this
looks
differs from the ozone.
No, it's the same ozone.
It's the same ozone.
Exactly the same
How do
ozone.
they get it?
Do they actually get it from the ozone?
No. Ozone is produced by. It's like you need basically, it's normal oxygen, isn't it? And when if you know when lightning strikes, you get that funny smell.
Yeah.
It's the ozone basically,
Isn't
because
that
the electricity.
chemical
No,
reaction.
it's not the electricity. The electric charge in the air causes the oxygen molecule to break into ozone or join with something to form ozone. And so basically this probe as such has got the electric charge, which doesn't ever touch your skin, but the air around the glass tube, which has got the electric charge in it, gets the positive ions or whatever it is, I'm not too hot on the chemistry element, and forms ozone. And you can smell it. It smells like the sea. It's amazing.
Wow.
Really?
As you know that smell after a storm? It's like like almost like a blood smell. It's really earthy, strange smell.
Wow.
And you get this smell, and it's the ozone being formed literally on your skin, and it heals it. Wow. So when you have one of those really harsh facials where they like take the layers off your skin, they always used to do an ozone thing over your skin afterwards. And my skin was never ever red. Never had any. It was never sore or anything.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Ozone. It's the wonder drug.
That's your top tip for the day.
I'm still not absolutely sure. In what form does this ozone take?
No, ozone. It's basically the electricity in this glass probe as such causes the electric current causes the air around the end of it to chemically alter into ozone.
So it's like frying air.
Well, no, you know, when basically ozone is formed from the oxygen molecule, it's when it breaks down, or it's when it, because in the oxygen is floating around in the air as it is because it's part of the air, and it's when something either it takes on an atom from another another molecule in the air, and it forms ozone, or it breaks down. I think it's O2 is ozone, isn't it? Or is it O3? O2 is ozone. Yeah. So what's oxygen? O3. Oxygen is O2.
Yeah.
Ozone's O3, I think. I'm probably completely wrong. My science teacher's
It's been a long time since I was doing chemistry.
I taught you so well. How could you forget this?
And it's good for spots.
No, I learned this. I learned about ozone at school, but I can't remember. I think it's O3 is ozone. When it takes the another single oxygen molecule, because you can have O1 as well, and it bonds with the normal oxygen and it forms ozone, which is O3. Oh, I'm so wrong, but never mind.
So it heals, and so it's not just the spots; it's like the redness or any kind of thing.
Completely heals your face.
Yeah.
So the tip for the day when you have a facial is ask for the ozone treatment.
Do they do that in London in most
Well, if they do it in Ghana, I'm sure
they must
have it in London.
I've never heard of it.
No, I don't know why it's not been. But it's the only time I've ever been amazed by one of those strange, newfangled machinery,
Were you all always beautiful? Or did something
No way. No way.
No. I was short and
I was a fat monster.
I was called Big Bird.
I was awful.
I was called Chubby Ginger Nut.
Really, Rebecca?
I was a big girl. And I had acne, yeah. I was called Fatso when I was 13. I wasn't one of the, the pretty popular girls at school. I used to big boobs, and I had, bad skin, and, had my normal mates, and it wasn't until I was like sort of 16, 17, because I had short hair all my life, and being ginger is a bit of a problem for some people anyway. But luckily I grew it, and all of a sudden I just kind of developed, and then someone said, maybe you should think about modelling, and I was just really embarrassed. I was like, oh, fuck off, I don't know. And then it wasn't until then, and I think if I'd have been more sort of pretty and attractive, whatever that is, throughout my entire childhood, I'd be a different person. But once I started kind of running around, the weight kind of fell off. And then I was like, I just realised that I was happier lighter. It wasn't like, oh, I have to be thin to be happy. But because, I just had more energy. The energy made me feel better about myself.
But did you change your eating regime at that age, though?
No, I ate less crap.
I was a really, really stick. I was teased. I had a constant, my surname was always teased with a sort of fat rat, which was basically because I was so twiggy. I used to go and buy packets of donuts to try and put on weight, but my face was very round. And I had like a sty on my eye, and I was like really one ugly kid. I was really
conjunctivitis.
But you're so when you're that age, though, you're very self-conscious of your looks, and kids can be so cruel. And if you don't fit into that, that sort of, I don't know what you call it, but that sort of, 13-year-old normal, if you're too tall or too thin, kids can be so cruel.
Yeah, the blonde, the blue eyes, the kind of girls that get the guys, that kind of popular crew that moves around. If you're not in that, you feel inferior.
No matter what, it's so true.
Whether you're fat or thin, if you're not.
But
it's like you want to feel part of a crowd when you're at school. When you're a teenager, you want to feel part of something. And then it's only like later on did I realise that being a ginger didn't mean it was a freak. It meant that I was unique instead. And then you play on it that way. Because, I got bullied quite a lot at school through my hair and various other things, whereas now I make money off of it, so... No.
But why do you think the 13 to 16-year-old girls have that idea of what somebody should look like?
Because you're becoming a woman.
That's an impressive
puberty, isn't it? It's like you're becoming a woman.
And everybody's growing at different levels. I mean, that's the thing. At 13, some girls were fully developed, and I was still like a little twig. You didn't have my periods, really underdeveloped, and you're constantly comparing yourself, and then you've got the magazines and you've got the films, and you're sort of deciding what you want to be, and all you see is like movie stars and beautiful people, and all you can see is your body's changing, and it's horrible, and you just like.
As a young kid, going through 13 to 16, I suddenly went like that from being completely round, and I was.
See, I did the opposite.
I
was
didn't
like
notice
a
it.
streak.
I
was just like nothing. And then as I got older, I filled out. I got hips and a
boobs
marginal bust, but I did, and shoulders and stuff. And suddenly I was quite like, I had a shape, and I found that, that's what I found it went, and that's what a lot of young models I think go through as well. That they're very skinny, and then they, go through puberty.
They become a woman.
And they become a woman, and it's a problem for them.
And now you're the sort of people
that inspire
the 13 to 16-year-olds.
Now we're going to contradict ourselves completely.
But it's true. It's so true. I mean, you do. When I was younger, we'd read all the magazines. We'd read. I remember sitting in my classroom, and I remember girls going, "All I want to do is be a supermodel." But is anyone here actually very proud of what they do, just out of interest?
Why wouldn't you be proud?
I've got a house to show for what I've done. I've travelled all over.
I'm proud.
I am. I didn't expect to.
I think a lot of people straight off would say no. You know, you sort of think no. But when you actually really think about it, you know, yeah, I am proud of what I've done.
Yeah, it's not
easy. It's not in a big-headed way.
I used to be really ashamed of it
and not tell people.
And now I'm like,
no,
you know what? I really appreciate things about modelling. I appreciate the money, the time that I get on my own. You know. Travelling, being self-employed, all those things, and it's got to the point where I couldn't go back into a normal job.
So 9 to 5.
I've got to invent something else to do. But it's true. I couldn't.
I've got to ask: are you less proud?
I'd probably be. It's probably a lot of the fact that I went to a very, very good school, and it was drummed into me from an early age. University, the best possible university. You would do your A-levels, you go on to university, you get a very good job, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And which is a great way of learning, obviously, because you push yourself as far as you can. And as much as I know, because one of my family members actually bumped into my old English teacher the other day, and they're all collecting the magazines and stuff. So I know they all really look up to what I'm doing, and they don't see it as stepping back. But there probably, if I'm honest with myself, there probably is part of me that probably looks upon the industry with a slight kind of feel that, you know, I could be at university right now doing a degree in something which
then you can do that anytime.
taxes me.
I knew that I couldn't go back to it when I went to see my friends just because it's so totally different to my lifestyle. Not that it's any... I used to have such a great time going to see them, but I knew that I couldn't go back to living in a shared house where there's dishes up to, you know, I would drive me mad. But I'd love to go and visit.
Trying to like find money for cigarettes.
Yeah, but you see, you do get spoiled.
Yeah, I dropped out. I was at university and I dropped out. Yeah, you just can't. You can't apply yourself. It's so hard because you don't know where your next day will be. And
I did 6 months of modelling and finishing my A-levels, and though I didn't travel, the pressure of having to do even one day here and there was enough.
That's why I'm so glad I did my A-levels before I started this.
A lot of girls do that, do they? Like in summer holidays and Easter breaks, you know, they'll come in. You know, but you're supposed to like be doing projects over the holidays, but they're like running around doing castings every day at 14, 15, 16, and the schoolwork does suffer. I think maybe you should start. I think 16 should be the limit. Like once the legal age of school
at 15, I did a few jobs and hated it. Absolutely hated it. And went back.
When you were young?
When I was 15, that's when I was found, and I did a few jobs then, and I went and I just hated it. I felt totally out of my depth.
Same here.
How were you found?
I was found in McDonald's.
Really weird when you were
I was found in McDonald's.
Were you eating a Big Mac?
Oh no, I think I was eating a hamburger or cheeseburger. I was 15 and it was on a budget.
Couldn't afford a Big Mac.
It was on a budget.
Chicken nuggets.
And did they say if you cut out the hamburgers you could be a model?
No, they didn't. They said, do you want to be a model? It was a photographer, and she said, do you want to... No, are you a model? And I wasn't. And then, I met the agency and did a few jobs, and I just was not ready for it at all at 15. And then when I was 17, finishing my A-levels and wanted a car, it seemed like a good idea. So I went back to it for a year.
When I was discovered, I was told that if I ate less, maybe I could think about being a model, because I was at the finals of this like beauty contest at the local thing I did, and there's like a buffet table. You know what the buffets are like when you're working? It's just like this array of exotic foods from all over the world, and you're like, wicked. You're like, have a bit of that, and I was like chained to the buffet table all day, you know, and I was a bit bigger. And the photographer came over to me and said, you know, you were really natural in front of the camera. You know, maybe if you ate a little bit less, you could think about getting to modelling. I was like,
God, that's really
I'm actually curious. I mean, I don't know how many of you have. Do any of you have to watch your weight?
No.
No. Because I was really, someone was asking me about that.
Oh, like,
do you think? Because I never had to.
I do.
That's something I never had to. And I was talking to one girl. We were just, saying she has to. And in some ways, you think, okay, is it fair? But then you think, okay, but you're selling a commodity, which happens to be yourself, and therefore
it's like doing your homework.
It's like having, off milk. You're not going to sell it. So should you look after what you have and make it? I mean, I don't. But if you're always
starving yourself, I mean,
and people aren't just. I mean, I can't presume to know what people at home are thinking, but I think they're not saying, "Oh, I can't." I hate them for saying that. I think they might be saying they're not. They're lying.
They're lying.
It's true that if you are a model and you want to be a model, then there are certain things that you have to look after, and one of them's your body. And if that requires, I'm not talking about starving yourself. I'm talking about eating and exercise.
Eating properly and exercise.
I have to look
healthy.
after my skin's terrible if I don't.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm tired and stressed out and drink a lot, then it, you know,
it shows.
It shows.
It does.
There must be a certain amount of carefulness, though. Surely there must be some carefulness.
You just have to be aware. It's just like waking up in the morning and just, you know, if
Washing
you have been eating like a hell of a lot of food over the past week or so, and you can notice it in yourself. Everybody does. You notice it on your face a little bit. Yeah. But you know, it shouldn't be that much maintenance. I don't think it should sort of just be quite easy.
You should just fit in with everything else you do. I don't think you should become really paranoid about the upkeep of yourself, but you just, you know.
I've got friends who aren't, and they are so much more concerned about what they eat. They always eat the salads, and then, you know, they're much more concerned than I have ever been about it. And even though I'm aware, but I think for the average woman on the street is very concerned about what she eats, what cream she uses,
what she wears,
cosmetics,
everything.
But do you think that's going back to the whole thing of the image that we create?
Maybe, yeah.
See, I don't think so.
Like
I don't think so, because it's not. I mean, creams wasn't about models.
No, I'm not talking about models. I'm talking about the fashion industry.
But I think everyone wants to feel their best.
Their personal best. Everyone knows how good they feel, no matter what size it is, but you know how good you feel in your favourite pair of trousers and your favourite top. And if you feel your best, then that's your best, whether it's a 10 or a 16, whatever. Everyone knows their own shape and their own body frame and what they feel themselves at.
And the thing is about models creating this image, it's not just models who create the image. People who create the images are the advertising agencies who get paid for the model to be there, put you in a certain designer's clothes, take the picture a certain way, and that's what sells the image.
Retouch the picture.
They retouch the picture.
Scrape off the side. Retouch.
Yeah, retouch. I mean, those guys.
They're amazing.
You can do magic.
We love those.
Modern technology.
So what do they retouch?
Everything. Absolutely everything.
I mean, you
Scrape
look
off pieces
perfect.
off your waist and all sorts. You're like, do I look like that?
They can take bits off your legs.
So you may as well be computer.
They probably will be in years to come. Cyber models.
So do you think sometimes models get the brunt of the bad publicity? Do you think that you're kind of scapegoats?
For what?
Well, when people are
They're blamed for a lot of eating disorders. When the whole Kate Moss thing started, when the whole waif heroin chic look came in, you know, that was blamed for a lot of things.
But then you're just classed, if you're a model, you're all thrown into the same category, and it's so silly if it's just a small minority of people. Yeah, there are girls like that, but there's such there's such a vast selection of models, and then you sort of, you know, you're just classed as that sort of, you're a model, so therefore you are.
And that's why I hate saying when people say, what do you do, saying I'm a model, and I justify it is because as soon as you say I'm a model, they're stereotyped. You can see it click in their head.
I was interested in taking care over what you eat, the fact that you have to distinguish between certain types of milk, for instance. I mean, is that not?
I'm lactose intolerant. You do get a lot of models like, I can't do wheat, I can't do dairy. Oh my God. But the reason they're allergic to it is because they eliminated it and now they can't eat it anymore. This is mostly in America. I mean, I've been living in America for years, so I've met a lot of models that are like, oh, I can't eat this and I can't eat that.
Yeah.
I'll bloat if I do this and I'll bloat if I do that. But you can create your own intolerances, because if you deny yourself one particular food group for a long time and then reintroduce it, your body's going to say, what's that? What have you done? So it's everything in moderation, do you know what I mean? It's like, if you want a bar of chocolate, have a bar of chocolate. Yeah. Just, you know your own limits. If you know that that's going to make you look like poo the next day and you're working, you don't do it. You know, I can't drink, you know, the night before a job because, you know, I have chipmunk cheeks in the morning, so I'll drink water and I'll go to bed. But it takes a while, and you get to know, you know, how your own body works, because everybody's completely different.
Good, because you've spoken at times about other models you've spoken to who've had kind of, you know, strange regimes that you don't endorse. I was wondering, what's the strangest? Because the food stuff, they're taking out a complete
well, there's this whole thing, this whole rage at the moment, which is the high protein diets, this whole craze. Which Dr. Atkins was really very famous for. It's been the bestseller in America for 10 years on the paperback list. And it's basically cutting out pretty much all carbohydrates. And I tried it just to see what would happen, you know, just for the pure fun of it. And after 2 weeks, I'd probably lost about 4 pounds, but I had the worst breath you could ever smell in your entire life. My boyfriend was like, Rebecca, you know, honey, I don't mean to be rude, but like your breath is kind of like whiffy. And I'm like, And I just felt ever so beefy, you know, and I was sweating and
nice.
it was the most disgusting thing. And I broke out in this rash, and it's coming to England now, this whole like protein, and you know, I could wake up in the morning and I could have eggs and bacon and sour cream and just meat and cheese and eggs all day, and you're thinking wicked, and you can eat as much as you want, and I was losing weight, but I felt gross because what it does is it puts your body into the form of ketosis, it's called, where because you haven't got any carbs to burn off, you know, so when you're running around, you know, you're not burning the carbs, so it goes straight into your body store of fat. So you're burning your fat, and if you're not drinking enough water as this process is going through your body, it comes out in your skin, and it can be quite poisonous. And a lot of famous people are doing it, like people in Friends, and a lot of Hollywood people, like they really cut down on carbs, even fruits and vegetables. So they don't know what the long-term effects are because it's a very, very high-fat diet. And if you're not eating fruits and vegetables, you're not getting vitamins and minerals and nutrients.
Well, so you just eat protein? No, you're not allowed to eat vegetables.
You can have like a tiny little bit of carb. I mean, you're only supposed to do it for this specific 2 weeks, and then gradually you're supposed to reintroduce like a slice of bread or a bit of
You're not allowed
pasta.
to eat any fruit or veg?
Not really. Or minimal, like a carrot.
Meant to be like,
But it
Why
really
no fruit and
works.
veg? What does that do?
It's sugar. It's carbohydrates. If you eliminate all sugar from your diet, your body has to go into the fat because there's no energy in your body.
Because when you eat carbohydrate, this is what they said.
Yeah,
it produces the
carbohydrate, but
insulin.
fruit and veg
that's
are
what
Basically, if you
carbohydrate,
cut out the insulin-producing
all the fruit acids and all that.
you use your muscle and you use the fat storage and you get muscle wastage.
Yeah.
And it's bad for your vision, it's bad.
It's
you know,
really
you get bad
I felt
breath,
terrible.
it's awful.
I wouldn't
It's
recommend
just
bad for
common
you.
sense. It's just moderation.
It's moderation.
But it's
all
but
moderation.
it's fads, isn't it? People are so desperate to create that perfect body figure
It's a
that they will
money-making
try
machine,
anything.
isn't it?
that's
But
what
the
it
thing
is.
is, they
Spend
don't.
more
But
than
then
money
you
got
got
money.
Send them your gods. They say
They
something
make
and people
billions a
believe
year.
it.
Billions
on
in
like,
America, it's
slimming
worth,
clubs
yeah.
and this, that, and the other. And at the end of the day, it really is input-output. If you eat a hell of a lot, you're going to be bigger, and if you don't eat as much, you're going to be thinner. If you run around, you'll burn it off. If you sit down, you don't. And I think it really is that simple. And I know people say about genetics and metabolism, and yeah, to a point, that is very true.
Well, no, but they did a study, didn't they, and found that because fatter people say, oh, I don't eat as much, I've got a slow metabolism. And they did a study to see, you know, how much they really did eat, and they actually eat, there was something like a third more
than the
average person. So they do eat more. You
Plus,
know,
you can
people
speed
do
up
eat
your
more.
metabolism anyway.
How?
Grazing.
Great grazing.
Grazing. When you eat 5 small meals a day.
Little and often.
And also
Keeps it going, doesn't
you're
it?
obviously doing more exercise, speeds it
Yeah,
up.
of course.
I mean, there are many. You know, there are many ways. I'm not.
Your body
bread
being
and
more
the slows
efficient
it
if
down.
you're doing
Yeah.
exercise and you're
Breakfast.
healthy. You know, your
always
body-
have
I'm
breakfast.
terrible at skipping breakfast because I never leave myself enough time if I'm working to eat.
I'd be
It
late to work.
sets your
But it's
metabolism
so
in the
slow.
morning.
I know.
But because your body
It's
goes,
so
because over the
stupid.
night your body goes into temporary starvation mode because
Yeah.
it's not eating. If you don't eat first thing in the morning, your blood sugars are so low that your body
Metabolism slows down.
goes, oh God,
'cause you
oh
think,
God. So
yeah.
the first things you eat, your body goes, we are
I'll
starving,
store
we are
this.
going to store this.
Do they still have those great buffets full of like the most fantastic foods?
Do get good lunches.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's a good
Magazines
client, you get good food.
Good
Sometimes
lunches
always.
London, I have to say, is the worst place for
Not
food.
on
though.
location.
You often get a lot of
London.
M&S sandwiches.
Oh,
Garde manger? No. It's
Yeah, I
garde
think
manger.
There's some nice
Hotels
catering,
and
great
out.
food. New
Milan
York.
get
Some
wicked
studios
food.
Milan.
here, though.
Anyway,
It depends.
Milan
If
is
you're-
the
some of the
best.
studios work with places that do the
Yeah,
catering.
James
New
New
York
York
sometimes
sometimes
Amazing
is the best.
catering.
But I know
My
what you mean.
favourite
Paris and
studio.
Milan, it's very
And New York
different.
has
They go a bit
fantastic
Yeah,
mental.
the best.
breakfast, lunch,
The
and
best.
dinner.
3 hour
Yeah.
lunches in Milan, isn't it? Like wine and
Wine comes out.
Yeah,
you're
but then
there
you
till 9
can't
o'clock at
move
night.
because then you're so relaxed.
So what? Tell me the difference between the food in Milan. What specifically? What's Milan? What?
Pasta.
You just get like a 4-course meal, and
Even though
they really
these-
take time over the food,
Yeah.
and you get wine, and you can, you know,
Because
it's like
everything
a
stops in Milan at 1 o'clock. Everything just shuts.
Yeah.
So,
Siesta.
you know, from 1 until 2 or maybe 3, everybody just chills out. You
And
know,
it's
whereas in
proper
London,
lunch
people
and
just
you
keep
really-
going.
yeah.
In the
Through
morning?
lunch, you know, you've got to keep going.
One o'clock
lunchtime.
lunchtime.
Yeah.
1
Yeah.
o'clock. But if you keep eating pasta, then you'll get fat and they won't want you anymore.
No.
No.
Does that not? What? No.
No,
I'm wrong.
exactly,
Or
you're
not?
right. I'm saying.
I'm right. It's
temperamental.
pasta in Milan. What is it in Paris?
I don't know. They have really good Indian in Paris. I always have really good Indian.
God, I've never had Indian.
They do.
These are all things that would make you self-destruct in terms of your career.
Not if
So
you're
instead
doing,
it's like
not when you're doing swimwear,
Yeah,
you
I
don't
like
want to have
having
Indian,
sushi
do
in the
they?
studio
No.
because that's light.
No.
Sushi's a
I
great
find
lunch.
sushi It's really model food, sushi. I
Why don't
really
you-
classify
Sort of
sushi
finger
as
food,
model
little
food.
bits.
Yeah, I hate it. I like to
I
eat
quite like
sushi.
sushi.
I like it now.
Everyone loves it. I
It's
know
like having a
one model who
picnic.
doesn't love it.
But I'd eat
Why
loads
don't-
of it. I mean,
Why don't you want Indian in swimwear?
well, no, because my stomach just goes whoosh.
You
like
just-
that.
You can notice it. Your belly
Yeah.
bloats out a bit, and you have to consciously hold it in sometimes, which is a bit of a pain after lunch. Sometimes it's better just to
Sits
have
on
a
your
little
stomach.
and often rather than a big blowout meal.
Yeah.
After one, it's noticeable after one meal.
Well, if you've got a flat stomach, yeah.
Yeah,
If
if you're
it
like-
goes, you get this little kind of pot.
belly.
Yeah.
I
You
want
do.
the pot belly.
And how long does it take for that to go down?
The
4
next
hours
day.
About an
digest
hour?
your food?
About an hour for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
No,
does.
but,
Yeah, it takes
yeah.
an hour, but I
It
mean,
doesn't take long, but it's just you know it's there, and you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have eaten that last
and
proper
it's
dom.
solid.
And it's definitely noticeable
Yeah,
after
it is.
one meal. Can
Well,
change.
no, think about it. If you've got a
really
flat
flat
stomach,
You have a
clothes are
big
quite
full
full
meal.
full.
After Christmas.
It does, it's right.
And you eat
You've got
it
to undo
really
your belt,
fast
haven't you?
as
Like
well.
that.
Yeah.
I get the African malnutrition stomach going on if I eat. It's because I've got a very flat
Concave,
stomach.
yeah.
That basically
Concave.
the food literally
You can
just
see it.
sticks your
On
stomach
your
out like
tummy.
that. So you will see it while it's kind of
You
sitting
do
there.
have to be careful at lunch.
Well, I
Often the
do.
client will be looking at you to see that you're not eating
They're
too
like,
much.
oh, you having
They're
another
like,
portion of that cake? You're like that. It's only
You're like,
small.
The best food, I was in Malaysia last week, and that is the most amazing food on earth.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
is. It's true.
They have all the Thai, the Vietnamese,
Chinese and
Chinese,
everything.
Japanese, all combined, and it's just like,
Wow.
and you
That's
like
a
have
taste
watermelon
infusion.
for
great.
breakfast every morning, and you know you have you make. Oh, I was just in seventh heaven. I'm like, just send me back.
But you always stop 4 hours before
Oh no.
the shoot.
You just hold it in,
Yeah, if you're
and then it
shooting
goes.
swimwear, I wouldn't eat. If I was shooting swimwear, I wouldn't eat for the morning. And I'd get the shot and then
I'd
eat as much as
fall
you want.
over.
Because you just
Yeah.
know, you,
Pass out.
it's
If I know
so,
you're
it's so
gonna do a
you're doing so close from there to there that you can't just...
It hurts
But-
sometimes if
yeah,
you hold
and
it
you
and
have to-
get really bad indigestion, whimpers.
Well, then also everything looks a bit weird and your face can look a bit strange because you're so concentrated that you're holding your stomach in that
Yeah.
you forget what you're doing with your face.
If you
But now
don't
that
eat,
retouching's so popular.
if you don't
Relax
eat,
a little.
if you don't eat, do you get extra energy?
If you
No.
don't
No,
eat,
no, I get really
I feel
shaky.
ill.
Really?
Yeah.
Not
Feel
if
sick.
you don't eat food.
I
Nobody.
feel nervous and shaky
hungry
and
now.
weak and
What,
ready
even
to
though
go.
talking about
Every couple of hours, you have to eat
If you
something.
miss breakfast, you get like that.
I can't
Yeah,
miss
if I don't
breakfast.
eat like breakfast and I've forgotten it's lunch by like 1 o'clock, I'm like it's like I've had 6 coffees. I'm like really
I can't
nervous.
function.
I
No.
can't not eat breakfast.
See,
I
I
would have
always
thought
What do
skip
you have
everyone.
for breakfast?
I have Alpen at the moment. And I used to hate it, but I love it at the moment. Really into Alpen. I like cereal and toast.
I like
Semi-skimmed
bagels.
or
Semi-skimmed milk, yeah.
But it's because full fat milk tastes repulsive.
Disgusting, and it goes
Yeah.
off and it
Creamy.
tastes... ooh.
Too
Cream. I don't like tasting it. Yeah.
So how long have you been on Alpen for?
For about Alpen phase has been for about 4 or 5 months now. I'm really into Alpen, but otherwise I love toast. I love
like
bread and toast.
Marmite
really.
on toast.
So otherwise I'm a
I like
toast.
bagels with cream cheese.
So
in
if
the morning.
Marmite are watching, I'd love
New
to
York
do a
bagels.
Marmite advert. Get paid in Marmite. I'd be so happy.
It's so true. You really love it. I hate it. I hate it.
It's like
Marmite's a very interesting food stuff because it's one of the few things that's very tasty yet has no calories.
I didn't know that.
No,
And it's
Jaffa
good for you as
cakes
well. It's got
have no
serotonin and
calories.
stuff.
Lots
and
of
bits and
B
pieces that's
vitamins.
supposed to be good for your...
It's got serotonin.
Yeah, apparently. It's supposed to
Vitamin B.
increase the levels in your head and make you feel better if you eat it in the daytime.
God, I lay it on so thick. If I have Marmite, everyone goes, that is absolutely disgusting.
I lay it on
that you
thick.
eat that. I mean, I like spread. I mean, I cannot make Marmite sandwiches or toast for anyone else.
because like
Really
whoa.
put that much off.
I love it.
I never knew that
I
Marmite
feel like
got
Marmite. Now I'm
serotonin.
getting all a bit.
It's got some really good feel-good factors stuff in it, apparently, yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, me neither.
How's your habit going?
No, have a little give me a nice
Withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah.
Give me
No, I'm not
Marmite.
that
Give me
hooked on
Marmite.
I prefer peanut butter on my toast.
Ooh.
Crunchy.
Has that got serotonin in
No,
it?
it has lots of calories.
I love peanut butter. Oh God. Grew up on that as a kid, and I always had it on my fingers.
Smooth or crunchy?
Crunchy.
Smooth.
No,
Crunchy.
crunchy.
Oh, I like it smooth.
Is there any difference in nutrition between the smooth and the crunchy peanut butter?
Crunchy's got more nuts in it, so I suppose there's more calories in it, isn't there?
Has
I
it
don't
got-
know.
But
It's
has
supposed
it
to give you
got
more
more
energy.
nuts in
Has
it,
it got
or are
more
they just
nuts?
I
not
think it's weird
compounded
without
nuts?
nuts. Smooth peanut butter, that's to me not peanut butter.
Really?
I
have
just think that's
crunch.
weird,
I
yeah.
love crunch.
Got to have crunchy.
Makes your mouth all dry, this movie.
You
stuff,
like,
It gets me back of your throat.
Your
Like,
mouth gets stuck together.
That's why you have to have jam all over it
Yeah,
as well.
exactly,
Or
that's true.
sugar. Sugar's really great. Sprinkle
peanut
sugar on
butter.
peanut butter.
I'm
Really?
feeling hungry.
Have you ever had
talking
peanut butter and cheese? That's a great combination.
No, Marmite
you must
and
try
cheese.
that. Marmite and cheese also is a great
I
combination.
think English is quite underrated. I think
I think that too.
I don't
Yeah,
think there's anything wrong with us British.
So I tried to cook my boyfriend a meal, and I fried some gammon, and I put it on a plate. This is a true story. I got some potatoes, and I thought, okay, I'll just boil them, and I put them on the plate. I got a big chunk of broccoli. I didn't think to cut it. I put it on the plate, got my bits around, and just poured it over. And I mean, the appearance of it was diabolical. I mean, it tasted apparently quite good, but I don't know how to serve. I don't know what you meant to do with British food. I'm really trying.
You still make it look nice. I mean, you
Eat it, yeah.
First of all, don't use Bisto. Do not be using Bisto in a
No, but then
kitchen.
if you have to make a
Dangerous
roast.
stuff.
I know,
You
but
don't
if-
be using Bisto.
Bisto's
But
good
how
on
would you
mashed
get gravy if
potatoes.
you don't
You
get
get
the
OXO
juice
from the-
cubes. You
from
use
the meat.
the juice from the meat. You use the juice.
Oh, but that's making a roast.
You don't. Okay, well, you don't even use any meat juice. You use
Vegetable
the,
stock
the
or-
vegetable
I didn't think of doing
water.
that.
You use an OXO cube. You use a bit of flour. You use a bit of red wine, a bit of mustard, and you make a nice gravy. You do not use Bisto. Oh. You get that film on the roof of your mouth. It's
Yeah,
school
it's
dinners.
tasteless. It's tasteless stuff.
If you're gonna,
true.
you know, English food isn't about school dinners. It's about, you know.
I love cooking. I've got to have butter and lots of olive oil and. Although I have started buying that Benecol stuff, it's supposed to lower your cholesterol. It's not like a
Benecol.
low-fat thing. It's just supposed to reduce the cholesterol.
What about that spray?
I've got that. That's really
Spray.
good.
That's
That's good
really
to fry
good.
with.
It's very good because I grew up in South
Spray
Africa.
olive
It's
oil.
very good if someone's attacking you as well.
Really?
But you can eat it
Spray oil
and
like
also
mace.
ward off.
No, it's good because it basically they used to. A lot of people, if they were attacking houses, like breaking in, they'd use this spray and cook. They'd spray it in people's faces because it blocks up your airways and you can't breathe properly. So you're kind of. Yeah. So
But you can also
than
use
mace.
it nutritionally.
Yeah.
So they used to spray it at dogs, like to get if you're breaking into someone's house, you use the spray and cook on the dog. Makes the
Really?
dog struggle. There you go.
Only 3 calories.
You know,
per
you don't even
spray.
don't bother with mace. Just go straight for the spray and cook.
Get it on your local supermarket.
Really, I don't know about that. So what? So explain. So how do you cook with it?
You spray it on the pan,
So you don't
and
use
it
as
stops
much.
things sticking.
So it's like it's like it's an oil.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
a spray.
That's why it clogs your airways, and it.
But it's good because you spray it, so you automatically use a lot less. Because when you pour, sometimes you're using too much than you really need to. So you can just spray it on and cook, fry breakfast or do a stir fry,
Yeah.
and you don't burn the pan. And
I just whack it in.
Pour it in.
It's meant to be really good though. You meant to use much less. I
It's
saw it
really
on
good
this
for your
morning
olive
the other
oil,
day.
though.
My
You know,
mum
it's for your
is.
skin and for your hair. It's
Apparently,
great
I
for
have
your
a
skin.
friend who was told she goes to all these very strange herbalists and doctors and God knows what, and he told her to drink half a bottle of olive oil a day.
Oh.
Now, and she kept it up for a week, and then she was like, I can't do
Oh
it.
my God.
And that was meant to
Wow.
purify her system and make her skin glow and all sorts of things.
break out in
They say
zits.
that's
I think that's
urine as well,
disgusting.
though. At the
Yeah.
end of the day,
What
so,
happened?
you know.
No, but it depends if
after a
she's
week
got-
of this?
Well, nothing. She looked exactly the same to me.
But if she's got
But 10 pounds
psoriasis or
heavier.
like eczema or dry skin complaint, then that could be good, you know?
No, she just went because,
She
you know,
just went
but
straight
she's
on
one of these people
Yeah,
that
I
would
would.
try all these things, but she would try them all at the same time. So I don't know, just the idea of it. She worked in a shop, and I remember going in there, and she had this bottle of olive oil under the shelf,
Oh.
and I just thought, it just made me feel ill.
So what's the craziest things in terms of the woman who had to drink a bottle of olive oil a
Olive
day?
oil.
Have any of you found yourselves doing sort of
Yeah,
making?
I was told by an ex-booker in New York to wrap myself in cling film and have a hot bath for a week and see what happened.
Keep the cling film on for a week.
Did you do
And
it?
I went home to my flatmate, this girl I used to live with in New York, and I told her, and we were just cracking up laughing. She was like, go on, let's try it. It's called saran wrap in America. So she ran down to the deli and got some. I took my clothes off, and she wrapped up my entire body, and we were just having such a laugh and having a glass of wine. And I'm like the Michelin Man, like all wrapped up, and she ran me this bath, and I got in, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so hot. And it didn't do anything. And I came back the next day, and he went, I told you it worked. I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't look any different. but apparently that's supposed to like make you lose weight or something. And like this is like a booker telling, you know, a young girl to do something this stupid for the sake of the business. They do
that at health. I mean, I've heard that they do that actually at health farms or whatever
I was
they call
so
it.
hot.
But I've never heard of anyone actually do it at home.
Do bookers say this kind of thing all the time?
There's so many tricks
like,
to
puff your lips out,
and also to keep your lips slightly open so you look more relaxed. And you're sort of there going.
You get this picture back and you look absolutely ridiculous. And your eyes
don't you have to put ice on your lips to make your lips puffy? Ice.
Never had that.
Ice on your lips.
I made my lips any more puffy.
Yeah, I'm like you.
Some people say brush them with a toothbrush.
Does that work?
Yeah, it's supposed to bring the blood and they...
What's that?
Brushing them with a toothbrush.
Oh, right,
You've got a makeup artist.
I was told to suck mine once. I was like really kind of suck into them because we were doing a close-up beauty shoot, and I sort of sucked on my lips for a few minutes and got them bigger again, and then went home and thought, what did I do today? I met one booker once when I first started, and she said, you know, the best thing to do is like sleep without a pillow and chew lots of gum. And I was like,
what does that do?
Because apparently I think she thought that if I slept like that, I'd have a thinner face, and if I chewed lots of gum, you know, I'd have really toned cheeks.
So there's the sucking in of the cheeks and the sucking the lips.
There's the body contortions.
What's
And
that?
the chicken fillets as well that you put
the
in.
cutlets.
Oh,
The cutlets, those chicken fillet
that is
things.
disgusting. And then when you take them out, they're like...
You've seen them like little chicken fillets and you insert them into your bra or into
I mean,
the
they're not real
top.
chicken fillets.
They look like chicken fillets. Sorry, not
They're
real.
really like wibbly wobbly, aren't they? They feel really funny to touch.
Like the silicone.
Yeah,
they're
silicone
jelly
things.
things.
When you slip
Put
them
them in
in,
your bra.
give you a bigger bust.
That's
another trick.
Heels
They
always make you wear heels.
Yeah.
Even if it's a crop.
Yeah.
They don't make you. They say because you stand
better.
Yeah, this is at the body
even if it's a
contortion.
crop
Yeah,
shop.
tell me more about the body contortions.
Well, I seem to work for magazines that like you to look slightly weird quite a lot, which is quite natural for me, to be honest, unfortunately. So they make you kind of do these really weird shapes and like arch yourself, maybe to make me look thinner or something, I'm not sure, but whatever. They make you...
it's for their clothes, if you're doing
because the clothes hang better, and then they pin the clothes. They always pin clothes, which is another
Yeah.
thing that make you look smaller. They pin clothes. And then you have to stand on one leg
In a
and
weird position.
lean back. And
Which magazines are they?
oh, the Face and ID are great at making you contort into strange. Actually, saying that, they do also make you just sit there going like
Yeah,
that.
looking really depressed.
Every time I've
complete
worked for
opposite.
ID, you sit going.
Yeah.
Well, that's the gaunt.
But that's the
gauntosity,
London
isn't
in
it?
look, isn't it? I mean, that's what's in, just looking really fucked up.
And I'm great at that. That's my speciality.
See, when you have a job like that, then that's when you need to go in with a hangover.
Yeah. You're in the pot all
Are
day.
you saying I can drink every night then?
So will you
Get
do
your
it? Will you
cigarette
do
hangovers.
that whatever you called it, the London?
The London look.
Yeah.
It is, isn't
Will
it?
you do the London look?
The London look. Oh, the...
Vacant, kind of like...
The vacant, the lights are on but nobody's home
anyone-
kind of look.
The mouth slightly open, head down, or the other one. The other one is the slightly pissed off model look.
Yeah, head
Which
in
is
the air a little
down.
bit, looking down.
That one.
Don't fuck with me, eh?
And do you all do the vacant London look, or is that
No,
just
I
I
don't.
think that's just
I've
my
done it.
speciality.
I do it sometimes, but I prefer to do, like, I've been working in New York a lot, and they're much more into the kind of positive energy, being a woman, being sexy, having energy, and you can take your own CDs and just dance around. And
Yeah,
just,
that's
there's a
my
real
market.
energy.
Own CDs is the way
animated.
forward.
That's the only way to work, is to take your own music.
Will you do? Will you do that look? I don't want
Which
to.
one? No, but it's just so much more kind of positive.
Saying that, London is definitely moving well and truly towards that now.
They don't analyse you so much in London,
Yeah,
like
it's
in
true.
in Paris and Milan. You feel you walk in there and they like look you up and down.
Yeah, Paris. In Paris,
yeah.
they measured me. I mean, well, not that I did anything, but they measured me every week.
Yeah.
Really?
Every
Yeah.
week. When I was
such
in Paris, I
pressure.
was looking for an agency, and I went into one agency, and they told me to take my top off, and I was in my underwear, and asked me to bend over, and I'm like, oh my God, what are they going to do? You know, like a sort of internal or something. So I bent over, and she went, Rebecca, you know, I cannot see the bones. You know, I need to see the spine and the hips, and I cannot see, sorry. And I was just like, right, okay. And she couldn't see my bones. And I
In
was
Milan,
like,
they have you
I'm going
cast
back to
for
London.
shows. They have you cast for shows
Premiere,
in the
here I
lingerie.
come.
In Milan, I remember a friend of mine, we turned up at a show casting, and it's quite a big one, and they were just having all the girls stripped down to their underwear.
yeah, God, that
And you
was
took
awful.
them down, it's just, and there were 3 guys, you know, with their like big
do it.
Italian stomachs. ciao, you know, as you sort of start to walk up and down. And that's like where you feel you're most vulnerable. You're in your underwear.
I thought they were.
You're walking up and down.
It.
No, there was two girls who just told them where to go. They were American. They were just like, you know, they were really rude. They were like, you know, basically, you know what you can do with this.
But
I mean, there's just so many girls out there that you're if you want to be pushed to,
like, I'll do it.
Or they're young and they don't speak English, and English is the universal language of fashion.
Something wrong.
You know, everybody speaks English in this business, and we're lucky. Wherever we go, someone can speak English. But I've been to Milan and all over, and you meet girls from Eastern Europe, and they can't speak English, and they can't speak the language of the country they're in. So they're more vulnerable to things like that, and they feel like maybe I do have to get into underwear because otherwise I might not get the job. Where
too young.
You know, Italians don't like the English and the American girls so much because we're more like, you know what? I don't think I will. I don't feel very comfortable. And they go, she's a beach. But at least we'll stick up for ourselves more because we can tell what's going on because either we can speak a little bit of Italian or they're speaking English.
But don't you think it's a lot to do with the fact that the Eastern European girls have got a lot more, they've got a lot more
to yeah, absolutely. The mentality.
At the end of the day, we fail at this.
We've got to come back to England, boo-hoo. I know, exactly.
But the Eastern Europeans,
they're usually doing it for their whole family.
Yeah, their motivation.
So if they get told to strip to their underwear, they will strip to their underwear.
Yeah, they're more money hungry.
Lisa, didn't you have a problem in France when you couldn't speak French? And
yeah, I had. I went for a show casting, and the designer, whose name I won't say, the designer started speaking to me in French, and I said, "Look, I'm sorry, I don't speak French. I mean, I can understand a bit, but if you say you understand and they start gabbing and you don't understand what they're on about," so I said, "No, I don't understand." So this went on for about 5 minutes. He kept talking to me, and I was like, "I don't understand." So he said something to me. I said, "I'm really sorry, I do not speak French." And he got my portfolio, slammed it shut, and threw it out the window. And I stood there, and I had this sort of moment of like I'd just been listening to Guns N' Roses and felt a bit insane. I stood there, and it was like slow motion, and I turned around. There was a rail of clothes there.
I heard this story.
I grabbed just about 5 or 6 items of clothes and threw them out the window.
I heard this story. I just heard this story.
Needless to say, I didn't get the show. I got a lot of trouble from my agency, and they went, "Lisa, this is not the way to work in Paris. You may do this in London, but hey."
But I heard the agency, your agency in Paris, were like quite happy because apparently the designer, I know who the designer is, but apparently the designer had behaved so ruthlessly with the agency, with some of the girls. They were quite happy that you'd actually sort of stood up for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a confrontation at the agency because one of the bookers was English and she thought it was hysterical, but you know,
she was on your wavelength.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You'll never work in this town again." You're like, "See ya."
Well, they were quite scared after that because I think they were quite sort of, "Oh, I don't know if we should send her to see that designer because, you know, what's she going to do to him?"
I went to Hong Kong to do Hong Kong Fashion Week, and they chose 6 English girls, and everybody else was like 30 girls in all this for the Fashion Week, and 6 white English girls. And we all went out there, you know, pretty normal size or whatever, and they hadn't cast us properly. And we all got there, and we were all massive compared to all these Chinese girls, because, you know, naturally Chinese people are of a smaller frame, and none of the clothes fit. And like they were calling our agency, going, you know, big Rebecca, you know, very big model. Rebecca had very big tit, and her hips on her hip. And they're looking at your composite card that has your vital statistics on it, and then they're measuring you, and if it's not exactly the same, they're like, oh.
They're freaking out.
Yeah.
And like they kept taking more and more outfits off my rail, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna have Mackie D's then. Sodger.
Yeah, you just rebel, and you're like, "You know what?" Then
you don't eat after 7 o'clock, do you?
You don't eat after 7 o'clock.
You're like
unless I'm going out for dinner with friends or it's a special occasion, but you know, if I'm staying in during the week and I'm working a lot, you know, I like to have my dinner around like my favourite soap. I might watch, you know, have my dinner and watch EastEnders if I'm on my own or whatever. But if I'm going out for dinner with friends or whatever, then I don't care.
Well, you eat after
I'm not
this,
like,
then?
you know, I'm not obsessive or neurotic about it, but I've found if I eat, you know, sort of at my main meal, either at lunch or a little bit earlier, like at sort of 6, 7, I feel great in the morning and ready for breakfast. If I eat a heavy meal late at night, I'm not hungry in the morning, so then I don't have breakfast, and then I'm doing
I hope so you've all had your dinner already?
No.
Yeah, starving.
Have you?
Yeah.
Gosh, that's amazing.
Just before I came here, and I did forget for Pretty Manger.
You won't eat anything around here tomorrow?
Huh?
You won't eat anything around here tomorrow?
Oh no, I'll have a little snack because...
Yeah, after all this talk of food, I'm starving.
Yeah, it's all about for dinner.